no strings on me. Victory!
Sandman and Ultron helped me to get this infinity border for the first time, and I think it will do good in rank as well. I'll explain. The key part of this deck is simple. If you get Sandman on turn 5 to control the final turn and restrict your opponent to only play one card, your choices are you can either play Ultron to spread your power with his minions in the other lanes, or dominate one lane with straight power with Red Hulk. And there is your snap condition. Here are your tech cards, but the cards that I tend to lean into are Nocturne and Copycat. Copycat is about to have a rework where she will only copy your opponent's ability. This can be crucial, especially if you could steal a key one that can help turn the tide in your favor. Nocturne is great if there's a location that you want to turn in your favor. Here's a tip with Nocturne. If your opponent plays magic to turn the game from 6 to 7 turns, and you have Nocturne played on the field, move her to Limbo to revert it back from a 7-turn to a 6-turn game and catch your opponents off guard. It's one of my favorite ways to steal cubes. Next, here are your tempo cards. The ones that I tend to lean into are Jeff and Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel will help you win the game if she sees an opportunity to. And Jeff can move anywhere. Now, here is a tip for this deck that I think you'll find useful. If you played Sandman on turn 5 to activate his ability, so both of you can only play one card, and you have Captain Marvel and Jeff on hand, play Captain Marvel first to activate the ability, and then you'll still be able to play Jeff because nobody stops the boy. Nobody. Alright, so let's get into a Gilgamesh matchup that I face. So turn 1, I don't do anything, but he plays Nico to change out a location. You could tell by the question mark above her head. So I go ahead. I don't have anything for turn 2 either, so I skip that turn as well. He plays Ant-Man on the left, which swaps over to the Nexus location, which spreads the power throughout all 3 locations. So that's something to be mindful of. So Hell's Kitchen brings out Spider-Pig, but I'm going to go ahead and play Cassandra Nova because I want to reduce his dex power by 1. And I play it on the left so it could spread throughout all 3 locations. He plays Dazzler and Squirrel Girl. So Dazzler gets her attack buffed for every location that's filled. And Squirrel Girl spreads 2 other squirrels to the other location. So that's my telltale sign. And this is a key play right here. Watch. So I play White Widow on the left to block off the Nexus. So now he can no longer spread to all 3 locations. That's my cue to snap. And Spider-Pig takes out Blue Marvel, which is huge because now he can't buff all the cards on the field. Turn 5, I went ahead and played Sandman because I want to slow down and restrict his ability to play cards. He moves Nightcrawler over to the left. He plays Gilgamesh, which receives a attack buff for every card that has a buff on it. And now, this is the combo that does it all. Ultron on Nexus, which gives +8 to all 3 locations. I'm surprised he didn't retreat, but he snaps here. So I'm going to spread some minions across the other location that Ultron isn't at. So he plays Khazar because he's trying to buff all the 1-drops, but again, too much power, and I secure 8 cubes and the victory. Alright, so let's get into this match where I'm going up against a Mr. Negative deck. So turn 1, there's really nothing much here, just 2 ninjas that have -2 powers, so I think it's best right now that I skip my turn. But Red Hulk does boost, because my opponent does the same. Space Throne appears, which is, if I can pull this off, is going to secure that location once I place White Widow, who will spawn a Widow's Kiss into my opponent's spot of Space Throne, which is going to secure that location for me. Alright, so Nidavellir is on the right as the third location, so I go for Nocturne here, just in case I need to change that location. So that's my play here. Red Hulk gains another plus power. So I could go 2 routes. I could play Captain Marvel, or I can go Cassandra and Nebula. So I decided to go Cassandra and Nebula and take away some of the power from his deck. Nebula on the right. And as predicted, Mr. Negative comes out on turn 4. Sidebar tip here, if I wanted to, I could play Jeff into Space Throne to accompany White Widow. I don't do it in this match, but just so you know, that is that could occur. So, turn 5, I decided to go with Captain Marvel, just in the off chance that I need her, and magic comes from my opponent. So now this becomes a 7-turn game with Ravonna on the right. She's going to reduce the cost of some of his cards. So turn 6, I'm going to go with the Red Hulk. He's pretty beefy right now at 22 power, so I'm going to play him on the right to get the +5, and Iron Man comes out on the right with Mystique to copy his ability on the left.
Iron Man.
So I go ahead and I'm going to change that location because I know Mr. Negative will go from 3 Nidavellier's boost of +5 back to -1. And it swaps to Mindscape. I play Ultron on the right to fill the left. He plays Ironheart to give the cards a boost and Jane Foster, but I already secured Space Throne, and now I secured the right to get the W